Hello everybody, this is Greg29407 back with another episode of City of Heroes. Well, this is kind of our birthday. This is our 100th episode of City of Heroes on the channel. I started doing these episodes back in July of last year when I first found out City of Heroes was back, and I've been doing them ever since. So just under 10 months, we've done 100 episodes. This is fantastic. It's very exciting. When the game was live and I found out they were going to be shutting it down back in 2012, I went through and I took pictures of all of my characters I had. I had like 49 characters, and I took pictures of them, and I kept my 3-ring binder with all my Excel spreadsheets with all the bills for all the characters, and that's all I've had for all these years since then. The pictures are on my screensaver of my computer, so I can look at my characters fondly. But I always said, if this game ever came back, I want to have some type of more detailed information about my characters. So I started doing these videos. Just in case we lost the game again, then I would have videos to watch in my old age of all my exploits in City of Heroes. And here we are. This is episode number 100. We have a special episode today. This is one I should have probably done a long time ago. What I want to do here is talk about how you get around in Paragon City. This is going to be on the blue side only because it is very complicated. The map for Paragon City is very large and very complicated to get around, and there are a lot of different ways of getting around because over the years they would add more and more things to the game. And to do this you have to go through here, and to do this you have to go through here, and it got very convoluted. And to be honest, I've had to do some research to try and find all these methods you have for traveling around in this game. And to be honest, I may have missed something. For this video, I am limiting this to methods of getting around the city that are open to pretty much everyone, if you're high enough level, of course. I'm not looking at temporary travel powers. I'm not looking at temporary teleports or things like that, team teleports, things like that. I'm looking for pathways for getting around. And I've got a list of 12 different methods of doing that. So that's what we're going to cover today. Below this video in the comment section, I'm going to have a timestamp for all the different sections we're going to cover today. So you'll have access to that. And I may put down in some of the categories all the different places you can go to too, although that gets a little long. So we'll see how that looks. I don't want to get too junked up. So let's get started. The first method of getting around, of course, in this town is going to be do a combination of things. Just hoofing it around, walking around using your run, super speed, or teleport, or super jump, or fly. Just get around that way, or using the trams. The trams are great. So let's look at a map of the city itself. And of course, we always have our zone map, and then we have the city map over here. And this is Paragon City, of course. It's quite large. We are right now in Atlas Park. If you notice on the map, though, the very center of the city is Perez Park. Very center. It is a hazard zone, of course. But this is like the central park for Paragon City. So if we look at this as Manhattan, then that is Central Park. And that's the center of the city. Now notice, if you zoom in here, I'll zoom in too big. If you look at the center of the city, here's Atlas Park, and here's Perez Park, and north of Perez Park is Steel Canyon, and west of Perez Park is Galaxy City, which used to be another starting zone. That and Atlas Park are the two starting zones. There wasn't much need for Galaxy City, so they turned that into our tutorial. Then southwest is Kings Row, and southeast is Skyway City. And this is really the internal circle of Paragon City. And you notice that there is a yellow line around here. This is the tram line, but this is the yellow only tram line. There's also a green tram line. When the game first came out in 2004, if you were in, say, Atlas Park and you wanted to go to Independence Port, well, you didn't just jump in on the tram here and go straight to Independence Port. You got on the tram and you took the yellow line to either Steel Canyon or Skyway City, and then you got off that yellow line and you would hot-foot it across the map to the green station and take the green line to Independence Port. That was a pain in the neck, and they got rid of that pretty quickly, and now it's basically one line. But these are the middle section of the city right here. Atlas Park, of course, is our starting area. Most of these inner areas here, I don't want to say most, 3 of these have their own hazard areas, hazard zones. Hazard zones were originally set up to be an area where teams can go and do street sweeping and get a lot of XP from finding enemies. That didn't really work out the way it was designed for. Atlas Park has the Hollows, which was added in, I think, issue number 1. That's our hazard zone there, and that's also connected to Skyway City. Skyway City also has Fault Line, which used to be a hazard zone, but not anymore. Fault Line is one of my favorite zones now, but it used to be it looked very similar. The front part where it's kind of fixed up with the donut shop and everything, that was not there. And the enemies in Fault Line were all Circle of Thorns. So if you love Circle of Thorns, that was the place to go. Nobody loves Circle of Thorns, so no one ever went there. So that's why they changed it to a much better zone. Kings Row does not have a hazard zone. Of course, Steel Canyon has Boomtown. That's our hazard zone. And so that is the inner circle of the city. Now, in each one of these cases, of course, they all have doorways connecting to each other. So you can get to any of these, you can use your powers to go through the doorways. Of course, we take the pathway from Atlas Park to Steel Canyon all the time. It's very simple. And so you can travel to any of these parts. Now, if we zoom out a little bit, we see that the outer ring of Paragon City, which are connected by the green tram line. And in that case, what we have is our Independence Port, Brickstown, Talos Island. Founders Falls did not originally have a connection, but they added that little connection down there. They never added that to the map, but yeah, they had a little connection that goes down here. And later on edition, Croatoa. And these, of course, you can walk to. The only section of this map that you cannot reach by using your regular travel powers or walking is Croatoa. You have to take the train or some other means of transportation, which we'll cover in a few minutes. But this is the one area that you cannot reach by walking that we've covered so far. So, Independence Port, that has its own hazard zone, Terra Volta, and that's where they have a trial as well as your respect things. Brickstown has Cray's Folly as their hazard zone, and off of that is the old Richte crash site, which is now Richte War Zone, which you can actually run from Atlas Park all the way to the Richte War Zone. You can run down here and take this path over here, and then down this way through Brickstown, all the way through Cray's Folly, take the back door there to get the Richte War Zone. Or you can just come down here to a method we'll go over in a few minutes and go straight from here to here. But that's different. So let's see. Okay. For Founders Falls, they have a hazard zone. It is Eden, which is, we have a lot of the devouring earth there. And from Eden is where you get to the Hamadan, which is, I guess, somewhere supposed to be right around here, maybe right down here. I'm not quite sure. It's not on the map. But to Eden, you get there. And Talos Island, their hazard zone used to be Dark Astoria. Now, this doorway is now closed on this server that I'm using on ThunderSpy. If you're on the Homecoming server, the doorway between Talos Island and Dark Astoria is still open, so you can still run over there. On this server, it's not. You have to take other means to get to Dark Astoria. Dark Astoria used to be level 20 to 29 hazard zone that matched Talos Island. No longer. It's now for Incarnate's in-game stuff. So that is all the areas you can reach by tram or by running, walking, super speed, or not super speed, one of your travel powers, super speed, super jump, teleportation, or flying. So that is it for our trams and or walking. We can get pretty much anywhere we need to. Oh, you can't really get to Galaxy City anymore. The doorways from Kings Row and from Perez Park are now shut down because that is, again, just a method for the tutorial. So that is it for this. And we will be on our next method for getting around next. Okay, we are now in Talos Island. I forgot to introduce our character, of course. This is Barbecue Beef Rib, who we've been playing with recently. He is our Savage Melee Fire Brute. And I forgot to introduce him. That was rude of me. We're in Talos Island, and we're going to head over to our next method of transportation, which is shipping. So let's head on over here. We left the tram line. We're headed over in this northwesterly direction. or to where all the docks are and everything. We have a couple of places that we can reach by shipping, and only by ship. Well, there are other methods, but so far. This ferry boat right here is our method for getting to Paragon Island. That takes us to Paragon, and of course, if we look at our big map, Paragon Island is right here. So we are here, and we would take the ship right on up to this area. Paragon Island was added in maybe build issue 1 or 2. It's level 40 to 50, and that's when they first increased the level, the max level from 40 to 50. They had to add that zone. You see a little tramp steamer right over here. This is our method for getting to Striga Island. So Striga Island will take us here. It also takes us to Independence Port if we choose to. So it's a nice little thing for, we can go to Talos to Striga, or Talos to Independence Port to Striga, Independence Port to Talos. It works really well. I want to see where this ends up at Independence Port, though. I've shown you where we end up in Talos Island. Let's see where we end up in Independence Port. I think it's on that thing with the giant ships. This door is always slow. Not sure quite why that is. It happens on every server I've played on. That one door, you open it and you have to sit there for a couple of minutes, or not a couple of minutes, 20 seconds or so. All right, so here we are in Independence Port, and there's the tram line there. So yeah, we are, show you where we're at. We're right here next to that big boat. So tram line, hospital, base portal, all that. So that's where we are for shipping. Those are the areas we need to use for shipping to get back and forth. We are back at Atlas Park, right in front of Ms. Liberty, in front of the City Hall. What we're going to discuss next is how to get around using the sewers and the abandoned sewers. This is method number 4, sewers and abandoned sewers. I'm going to head south of the City Hall, and I'm going to go down here to the sewer system down here, which is... if you ever do the DFB, this is a nice place to meet for other people that want to do the DFB, the Death from Below mission. We're going to go into the sewer system. And we have 2 levels here and 2 ways of doing this. But they're sewers, so they count as one. Okay, so here we are in the sewer system. And if we look at a map, here we go. So we have a method for getting around so we're in Atlas Park. Oh, here we are. Okay, here's Atlas Park. So if you notice, let me make this bigger here. This is the map of the sewer system. So here we are in Atlas Park, and if we want to, we can get everywhere between here and Skyway City, Kings Row, Steel Canyon, and Boomtown, which is unusual because Boomtown's a hazard zone, but we have a method of actually getting there through other means, which is kind of interesting. Now this is going to be very twisty and turny, and there are a lot of rooms. The sewer system was set up for lower level characters. This is actually for levels 1 through 10, and you're going to, as you go deeper and deeper into the sewer system, you're going to find tougher enemies. This was the idea was you could travel this way to the different starting points. Again, these are your main sections: Kings Row and Steel Canyon and Skyway City. But that's your inner circle of the city. So all lower level areas of town, and you can kind of fight your way through here with your friends and other players. It's not a great way of getting around. I don't know if a lot of people do this or not, but it's a way of doing it. Now, let me show you the other method a lot of people don't know about. We just came in the entrance. If we turn to the right, we have this door here. Enter the door. And we're going to enter the abandoned sewer network. Now, yes, they actually have a sewer system below the regular sewer system. So this is deep, 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 and the regular sewer system is above us. So I don't know what this says about this level. This is the abandoned sewer system. This is the old, scary abandoned system. Now this sewer system, look at the map. It looks exactly the same. and it goes the same places. The difference is the enemies we're going to encounter here are levels 36 to 40. So again, at the time that this abandoned sewer system was created, this was in-game stuff. So we only went through level 40 back then. So this is, if you got up to level 35 or so and you ran out of stuff to do in the game, because this was back 2004, 2005, there wasn't a whole lot there wasn't as many ways to level up or things to do in the game back then. There's like one way of getting leveled up, and it was just doing missions or street sweeping. Little one-dimensional. So they added this too. They said, let's just take the regular sewer system and call it the abandoned sewer system and put harder enemies in there. That's what this is. So you get a lot of higher level enemies in here. I don't know if anyone uses this either, but it's available. And if you wanted to go from one part of the city to the next, you could do that. You can go through this way, come back up here to the regular sewer system, and out. So it takes you to the same spots. It's just a little harder to do. So that is an option. So that's the sewer systems. And boy, it stinks down here. We got to get out of here. So that is sewer. That is method number 4. Okay, our next method of getting around, method number 5, is traveling to PvP zones. So this is a way of getting to those zones and getting out of them. There are 4 PvP zones. The first one is Bloody Bay. It is for characters levels 15 to 25, and the way to get to Bloody Bay is through Skyway City. If you go through the tram line, the south tram line of Skyway City, and as if you're headed towards Fault Line, right next to the entrance to Fault Line, there is a helicopter on top of a building, right there at the thing, that will take you to Bloody Bay. If you're level 20 to 30 and you want to go to Siren's Call, then what you're going to do is you're going to go to Steel Canyon. Steel Canyon, in fact, you can tell on the map, right here, there is a doorway in Steel Canyon over on the east side that takes you straight to Siren's Call. Very simple one. But I think that was the first one I ever went to, in fact. The next level is going to be Warburg. That's for levels 30 to 38. And in that case, you're going to go to King's Row. And what you do is, when you go to King's Row, go to the giant police station that they have, the big one with blue steel in front of it. Click on the door, the front door, and you will find yourself up on the roof of the building. There's a helicopter up there waiting to take you to Warburg. And then finally, for levels 40 to 50, if you like PvP at that level, it's Recluse's Victory, and it's right here in Atlas Park. In fact, it's right here in City Hall. So I'm going to show you that one. I did PvP in this game when it first came out, and I found that I was really, really awful at it. Like, the worst. And I was so bad that a bunch of teenagers who were making fun of me and taking advantage of me terribly, I was so bad, I kept coming back for more, that they finally got embarrassed for me and quit attacking me. They left me alone. I was just so pathetic that it was no fun anymore killing me over and over. So I gave up on PvP. We're in the back of the City Hall, and this guy right here, Prince Kiros Nandalu, he won't talk to me because I'm not level 40 to 50. But you talk to this guy, and he will send you to Recluse's Victory. So that's the high-level stuff. So that is for PvP. That is our method number 5. That is the last of the, how should I say this, normal methods of travel. And by that, what I mean is, these are all methods that we've discussed so far that you and I can do in real life. You can walk, you can take the tram line, you can walk through doorways, entrances, that kind of thing. All the other methods we're going to talk about are all more of the science fiction, fantasy, magical realm. Portals and teleportation and things like that. So those will be the next. But those are the first 5 we've covered, and we'll be back with more. Okay, we are back in Talos Island, and our next method of getting around is Pocket D. Pocket D is the social area where heroes and villains can kind of come together and not fight, but just be friends and celebrate and that kind of thing. It's also where they have the different holiday events, like during Old Father Time shows up, and the skiing down the slopes and that kind of thing. So this is a nice area that both heroes and villains can join in on. There are 4 methods of getting to Pocket D on the hero side. The first one here is in Talos Island, and there's a giant, rock over there. You can find it on the map. It says Pocket D right here on your map, and let me show you where that's at. I always lose track of which city block it's on. It's in these little office buildings over here. Maybe off one. No, it's right here. And you know that because you see the little Pocket D flyer stuck on the ground and the floor and that kind of thing. So all we need to do is enter this doorway. And this is our entrance. Now, the other entrances to the other locations are right here. This guy is dead asleep. This is the way to Fault Line. This is the way to Founders Falls. And this is the way to Kings Row. So those are the 4 ways to get into Pocket D. And then, of course, Pocket D is through those elevators right there. On the other side of Pocket D, there are the entrances to get to the villain side. There's also Null the Gull that's in there. On Homecoming server, he will switch your side from hero to villain. Here, he does other things, but he doesn't switch it that way. In terms of where this is at, you can find those on your map. It's pretty simple. Let's go through Kings Row and see where we're at. This is close to the tram as well. It's not too far away. This is kind of like on that near the tram and the police station. Yeah, there's the tram right there. Police station's right there. And there's the thing. Was it the van? This is the van. Oh, okay, it's the van. Now, in terms of Fault Line, it will take you right near. Oh, we'll go through this one too. It's going to take us right near where you can level up your character, near the entrance to Skyline, Skyway City as well. It's in this little tiny alleyway here. There's the lady over there that levels you up. There's the entrance to Skyway City, and the donut shop is right there. Back in. And because I don't know where we come out down in Founders Falls. Founders Falls used to be like the boondocks. It was way out of. It was hard to get to. You had to go through Talos Island to get there. There's no other way of getting there. And now it's like one of the centers for everything. There's everything you need to get to is Founders Falls. It's like, all right, so here we are. It's underneath this bridge. Let's see, where is the tram line? Oh, we're near the end of the map. Oh, okay. Tram line is way up that way, I believe. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, this is the first time I'm taking this character over here. Here we are. Tram. Oh, I have been here before. Tram line's way down this way. So yeah, and this is close to where you level up. There's that big Italian Venice-looking square where you level up. So that is Pocket D, and I think you can start using Pocket D like level 10 or something. I think maybe. That's the level one for that. All right, so that's method number 6. Well, I'm here in Talos Island, but for our next method, you can be pretty much anywhere to do this. We're going to look at the Ourobourus portals. Once you're level 14, you are high enough level to be given an Ourobourus portal, which you carry on your person at all times. So you can kind of spit this out and go. After you do a time travel mission, you will be given the entrusted to the secret badge, which gives you the Ouroboros portal. And there's several missions that qualify for that. including Dr. Lila's story arc and fault line. That's what I usually use. The easier way to get this, though, is just to go to Atlas Park, and when there are a bunch of people say, can someone drop me an Ouroboros portal? And someone will do that. They'll just click on here and go, bingo. And it costs nothing, so it's very easy for them to do. Now, if they drop it and then they go through it, it's going to disappear. So when they drop it, you have to let all your guests go through it before you do. So we're going to go through this. If you achieve your, you go to Ouroboros that way, what you're going to want to do, you don't have the portal yourself. What you're going to want to do, though, is you're going to want to go ahead and get the badge. If you didn't earn it yourself, you need to go ahead and get it. And the way to get that is to climb up here. Oh, for the heavens, it's going to be a hard time. I'm going to do my super jump up the building. There we go. So I'm going to be up here. Oh, no. I'm going to go right up here. And there's the badge right there. You get that. And, oh, I didn't get the badge already. Okay, good. There's a bonus. That's the one badge that's in Ouroboros. And that will give you the Ouroboros portal if you didn't earn it yourself. But Ouroboros is fantastic because you can use that. You can drop that anywhere to get here. And this will take you to the following places: Atlas Park, Talos Island, Independence Port, Founders Falls, and Paragon Island. A lot of times, because Paragon Island is kind of hard to get to, unless you're using the ferry in Talos Island, which is not very convenient. A lot of people, if you have to go to Paragon Island, you'll use the Ouroboros port. That's the most often method of getting to Paragon Island. People use Ouroboros. There are other methods too, which we'll cover, but that is it. So those are the different places you can go using Ouroboros. All right, that was method number 7. I'm standing here in the university, and I'm in the university branch that's in Steel Canyon right now. This is where I do all my creating all my invention origin enhancements. And we're going to do our method of traveling number 8, the Midnighters Club. So when you hit level 10, you're going to get contacted by this guy right here, Montague Castanella, and he's going to give you a series of missions. It's a little story arc, and we've covered that one before. And it's a pretty good when you deal with the Richte and the Lost and that kind of thing. At the end, he's going to give you membership into the Midnighters Club, which is like a magical group that has secret meetings, and they fight against the Circle of Thorns and all these other things. It gives a very important part of the story later on. The Midnighters Club is located on the campus of several different parts of the city, and if you come out of the campus, it's right over here. This is the Latin suit you give your password to originally. After you do that once, you have to do it again. You come in here, and you will be in the Midnighters Club. Very nice building. And what you do is you come back here, and this is the one and maybe only way of getting into Cimarrora. But it will also take you to the other entrances of Midnighters Club around town. You have an entrance at the University in Croatoa and at the University in Founders Falls. So by using the Midnighters Club, you can go from Steel Canyon to Founders Falls or Croatoa, or into Cimarrora, which is right there. So when you're doing the Cimarrora missions, which you can start doing at 35, this is the way to go. This is the place to be and the way to get there. And so those are very important. Of course, again, we've done episodes on that as well. So that is the Midnighters Club, method number 8. Okay, we're back in Atlas Park again. Atlas Park is kind of a nexus for a lot of travel opportunities, along with Talos Island and Founders Falls. Those seem to be the big 3. What we're going to do now is number 9, which is the Vanguard Base. Vanguard Base is going to be due south of City Hall, as if we were headed towards the abandoned sewers and the sewer system, which is right there. Here's the Vanguard Base. And Vanguard will take us to the Richte War Zone. That is our primary method of getting there. Of course, we could run all the way through Cray's Folly and then into Richte War Zone, but that would be kind of a pain in the neck. when I get to level 35, which is when you qualify for going through Vanguard, from 35 to about 40, I pretty much only do Rickety Warzone stuff. The missions are easily repeatable. They're quick. They're fast. And you can do 10 or 12 before you start going, I'm going to try something different. I'm getting kind of tired of this. So they're very nice. This is the Vanguard Base, which we've covered in previous episodes. And we have Lady Grey over here and all this stuff. But the different places you can get to, aside from the Rickety Warzone itself, are Atlas Park, Founders Falls, and Paragon Island. So it's another way of getting into Paragon Island, which is nice because before it was just shipping and Ouroboros. We also have Vanguard Base down. So that is our method for doing that. And that is a nice little shortcut. So if you're in anywhere near those, you can just kind of skip on through Vanguard Base and get to where you need to go. Okay, we are back in Talos Island. And the next thing we're going to cover is our method of travel number 10, the tunnels. This was a late addition to the game. It came out fairly late, maybe towards the very end. These are the tunnels. You see these swirly things. They're in the towns that we're going to look at where they're at. They're usually close to the tram line or the other method you would reach that area in. Let's take a look at where this goes. This will take us to Atlas Park, right next to the tram line. Imperial City, which is in Pretoria. Underground Imperial City, Talos Island, of course. First Ward and Night Ward, which are part of Pretoria as well. Founders Falls. Paragon Island, again, which is nice. Firebase Zulu, which is in the Shadow Shard, which we're going to get into a little bit later. And Dark Astoria. Now, again, as I had mentioned earlier, it used to be that Dark Astoria was accessed through Talos Island through a doorway. If you're playing on the Homecoming server, that's still available to you. Other servers, it's not. They shut it down. So you need to go through the tunnels to get to Dark Astoria. So those are the ways to get there. On the villain side, I think they also have Mercy Island, Capitolole, and Nerva Archipelago connecting these things as well. So these are basically, you go into the tunnel that looks just like the tunnels from Pretoria, so it brings back really terrible flashbacks. But then you can go into where you need to get to. Now, the reason why I showed you this from Talos instead of from Atlas Park is because there is one appendix to the tunnel teleport, and let me show you what that is. The tunnels, again, were a late addition. In fact, it came, I think, several issues after Pretoria. Originally, the way to connect Pretoria to Paragon City was through Talos Island, but there's a contact there. And that contact is still here. I just looked it up on the map. Right there. So you're going to go up, due north. You're going to pass the arena, which never really took off as part of the game. And what you're going to do is you're going to go into this grassy area right here, which seems weird. And this was the main Mistress Eva. She's still one of your contacts. She contacts you if you want to do a lot of First Ward, Night Ward missions, which this character has done all of those. This is the way to go. I don't want to go through here. Oh, it's going to take me through there anyway. Okay. This will take you to, is it just First Ward? Let's see. Okay, so that's where we came in. I don't know where that's going to take us. Let's see. Okay, I think that's villain side. And this takes us to Pretoria. Let's talk to this guy, the doorman. Yeah, so that's going to take us to Pretoria. So this is just kind of a weird annexed area. Again, they kind of stuck it in, sorry about that. They kind of stuck it in a weird place until it's like they just kind of randomly stuck it on that little grassy area, and it was really hard to find. I was curious as if it even existed anymore. That's what this lady says. And I'm set to recruit heroes from your world as champions. So yeah, this is for getting to the First Ward and stuff, which is what I've done. So yeah, it's just kind of a weird spot. It's like they needed a place to put it, and they just kind of stuck it over here. This is the only way to get from Pretoria to Paragon City originally, and then they did the tunnels afterwards. So this is just a weird appendix. But if you decide to do the first ward missions, you need to talk to Mr. Saiva. She's up here, and that's where this is. So that is method number 10, the tunnels. Okay, we are coming down for a landing here in Talos Island at the tram station, and our method number 11 is base portals. Every area of town has base portals. I think pretty much every place has them, including hazard zones. If you are a member of a supergroup or start your own supergroup, then you can create your own base. And part of having a base is you can have teleportation going all sorts of different places. And it's really kind of amazing what you can do with it. In order to get the rights to teleport to a certain part of town, you have to collect different badges in order. I think it's like 4 of them, so that way you can say, oh, now I can have the ability to teleport to Founders Falls, for instance. Depending on your supergroup size and base, you may have a lot of those different things. If you're on the Homecoming server, none of this costs anything. You can set up your own base and you can just get all this stuff for free, which is why a lot of bases there, they have connections to everywhere in town. Everywhere. It's free and easy to do. Thunderspy and some of the others are more like the actual live game, which is what you have to earn prestige in order to be able to afford to buy things for your base, and you have to seek out the different badges that will allow you to have teleportation connected to the base. But using your base is a great way of getting around. In fact, a lot of supergroups will use that as a selling point. They'll say, oh, please join our supergroup and earn prestige for us. We have teleport things to 12 different places in the map. Easy access. So that's one good selling point. So bases is number 11. Okay, we are here in Paragon Island, and we're about to go over our 12th and final method for travel. This is travel to the Shadow Shards. Again, Paragon Island is the way to go. We did see there's a method of doing that using the tunnels as well. Paragon Island is kind of the gateway to that. We're at the Portal Corporation, which is at the very far end of the island from the ferry line that takes you here to Paragon. And to be honest, I was a little surprised by finding this. I was under the impression that there used to be, the way you used to get to Firebase Zulu in the Shadow Shard was over here, this helicopter thing. I thought there was a pad there, and then I think in Homecoming there was a person over here that you clicked on that would take you there. I could have sworn that. I couldn't find what to do, so I clicked on Firebase Zulu on my map, and it takes me in through this main door. And sends me down the elevators. Then over through one of the portals. So that is the method for getting to Firebase Zulu, which in turn takes you to all the entire section for the Shadow Shard. You may want to double check on this. I found this one just by looking at the map and clicking on it. I was under the impression that there were other methods of getting there in the same general location. I could be wrong about that anyway. But that is it. That is our methods for travel that I have found and that I have known about over the years. If there are any others that I missed, there are permanent methods that are available to all players like this. Not some temporary thing. Oh, if I do this or get enough enhancements, then I will earn this special portal thing. Nothing like that. But it's something I missed, and put those in the comments below, and I'll take a look at those. But I'm pretty sure that is it. So that is pretty complicated, pretty detailed. I'll have a timestamp for you so you can kind of find what you need to. But that is going to be it for us. That is my travel methods for Paragon City. In terms of the red side, let me just say they learned a lot from 2004 to 2006, which is why the Rogue Islands are much easier to navigate. They go in a very linear fashion. You're not bouncing all over the place. But they also have a lot of the same methods, such as tunnels and Pocket D and Ourobourus and those kind of things. So you can find those pretty easily. So until next time, this is Greg29407, celebrating our 100th episode of City of Heroes, saying farewell, and we will see you next time.